There is such a thing as a slippery slope phenomenon that can happen in relationships. So you might have heard of the slippery slope effect when it comes to business or money. For example, when people take money or steal money from a business or organization, and eventually that little bit that they stole, they convince themselves it wasn't that bad or didn't hurt anybody, and then they steal more and more until eventually they're in a huge embezzlement. Well, with the relationship, something very similar can happen. Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Kopaz. I'm a clinical psychologist, and today we're going to talk about the slippery slope effect in relationships and what that looks like. So the slippery slope effect is really important to know about because we can use this information to really protect our romantic relationship. I think it was Benjamin Franklin that once said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And that is definitely the case when it comes to your significant other and your relationship. There's no perfect way to make sure that you never get cheated on or to prevent infidelity, but this is definitely something that can reduce the chances of going through an infidelity. We should all be allowed to have friends of any gender, any sexuality. We should be allowed to talk to our coworkers or go to lunch with them. But it is really important for you to think about, how do I interact with people who are of the gender that I find physically attractive, that I might be romantically inclined to be attracted to. So when you are interacting with coworkers or you're interacting with friends or anyone that has that potential, you really want to be thinking about, how do you guard against sharing information about your romantic relationship or sharing negatives about your partnership? Because it's the beginning of taking a step onto that slippery slope, going down a road that might lead you somewhere that you didn't intend. When I see couples come into my practice or individuals come in and say, I had an affair, there was an infidelity, I don't know how this happened, they really say, it started out as a friendship, or it started out as a coworker, it started out, messaging back and forth online, and it felt very innocent to them initially. And what they didn't realize is where it would go, and that snowballing or that slippery slope would lead them to a place where they felt like they couldn't get out of, or the next thing they knew, they were doing something that wasn't their usual moral behavior. So guarding your relationship against that means really taking a look at how you interact with others. If you do need to talk to somebody other than your significant other or your spouse about an issue that you're having in a relationship, find a friend that's really safe. Find a friend that supports your relationship, wants it to work, wants it to grow, knows more than just the negatives about your relationship, and isn't somebody that you would be attracted to. They're not even of that gender, or they're somebody who's happily in a relationship, etc. So really being careful about who you choose if you have to do that. Of course, the best thing is to bring it straight to your spouse if you're having difficulty. And remember, if your spouse brings you an uncomfortable topic or an issue that they're having, say thank you. It might not feel good to have constructive criticism come your way, but really what we need to say when our partner brings us something that isn't working well for them, we need to say thank you, because that means that they trust us enough to share with us what isn't working and what they want to work on. That means that they're not bringing it to everybody else in the world, hopefully, that they're coming to us so that we can repair it, rather than just griping with others who eventually will say, leave that person, or, hey, I'd never treat you that way. And this is really where that slippery slope can happen, is the other person can start to say things like, yeah, my relationship's like that too, and wouldn't it be great to have one that both people understood, or I'd never do that, if I were your partner. And it can get into that place where it goes down that road. Owning up to small transgressions, or just even the potential for a transgression, is really important. You can feel uncomfortable, and the tendency is to want to hide those things, or to omit them and just think, oh, it'll never matter, and it's better for them, they won't get jealous if I don't tell them anyway. But the more you can share with your partner, the better, and the sooner. So what this could look like would be like if an ex texts you a message or sends you a message, and they're not someone you normally hear from, you might share that with your partner. You might say, hey, so-and-so messaged me. Doesn't mean you have to show them the whole conversation or even go into details, right, if they trust you, but you could just say, I wanted you to know, just so it was never a surprise, or you weren't the last to know. Or, hey, heads up, I got this message from somebody, and I wasn't really sure how to respond. I later looked at the conversation, and I thought I could have been more assertive in that conversation, or I could have shut it down faster. So just owning up to those kind of small transgressions or even totally innocent things, but that could be seen by somebody else as opening that window for somebody else into your life is really important. The sooner we share that with our partner, the less likely it is to go anywhere, and it models for your partner good moral and ethical behavior. So keep that in mind. If you want the other partner to do that for you, you need to be doing it for them. And sometimes you have to be the first to take that step. And when they see that, then they can say, oh, that's what that looks like. And then hopefully we'll return the favor and keep your relationship in a great place. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you think about how you can avoid the slippery slope in your own relationship and just keep making improvements to communicate better, to be more open, and to take those courageous steps to talk to your partner about the things that are uncomfortable for the betterment of the long term of your relationship with your partner. I'm Dr. Kristen Kopaz, clinical psychologist from drkinthebay.com. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.